Hey, howdy and happy day. The US of A, a lot of stuff is going on there, soon to be in Canada and other countries as well with regards to their elections. And the election's already come and gone in the US, I understand, but there's other elections coming in other countries, and it feels like an election is still going on in the US because of the nomination and everything else and all the press and stuff. Now, do you hear that crackle in the background? I'm going to talk about guns in a second. Crackety crack, it's not a gun, it's a fireplace. It's a cold day today where I am, so I just stoked up the old fire. So hey, sit back and kind of think that you have one too. Now, the CRPA, and that's the California Rifle and Pistol Association, they and so many others just had an announcement yesterday that said, isn't this great news? There's support now from all of us and so many others about this constitutional concealed carry reciprocity act, which has now finally been introduced into the House by Senators John Kennedy. He's a Republican out of Louisiana. I like him. He's great fun to watch and talk to. And John Cornyn, he's also a Republican out of Texas. And this bill will allow individuals who are authorized to carry a concealed firearm in their home state to legally carry across state lines. And now it's reciprocity in every state in the union. I mean, this bill has garnered all kinds of support from both sides of the aisle, with over 120 co-sponsors in the House now that they support the idea that law-abiding people should have the right to defend themselves, doesn't matter where they are within their own country. Okay, it's like a driver's license. You shouldn't have to get a different license every time you go into a different state. So, you know, this patchwork of state laws has been kind of a mess and a nightmare, and I think it'll happen now. It certainly has that look. People like Newsom in California and the governor, oh boy, the governor in New York and Wisconsin and all these liberal left-wing whacks, I mean, they're going to have a stroke. Isn't that good news to hear? The House also passed a bill just 2 days ago that bans transgender athletes from competing in women's and girls' sports at schools that receive federal funding. The vote was 218 to 206. What is wrong with those 206 people? Are they crazy? Lunatics, left-wing wackos? They are the Democrats that are voting. They think it's okay for somebody to say, I want to be a girl today, I want to be a boy tomorrow. Really? That's what they say. I mean, who are these people? 206 of them. We should have jails for stupid. I think it would be full of Democrats and liberals. It's a great day in America for women, for women's sports. I mean, women tried and worked for so many years to kind of get out from under this man business. They wanted some equality and cha-cha. Then they started to get it and bang. What happens? All the wackos come in and say, now we got men who say they want to be women. And that's okay. They identify as women. Doesn't matter if they're 6'3" and you're 5'3". Who cares? This is good because they're bad. Just saying. Donald Trump, he has a key goal. He has many key goals, this guy, but there's one key goal is, he says, I want to defeat those responsible for pushing this climate crisis hoax. He says that the radical left lunatics, they're fear-mongering about climate, and our future is destroying America's economy, wrecking our society, and screwing up our middle class. And they really, really hurt us, and it's become a business. It really has. The environmental stuff, climate does change. We get it. I mean, look back into the 30s, dust bowls and temperature and 114 degrees a year ago in Louisiana. Wow. Climates change. I mean, kind of like days and nights, everything changes. Should it be the big industry that it is? Of course not. Of course not. Should we quit breathing or knock a few of us off because we're hurting the economy? Of course not. The left-wing people, bah! Speaking of left-wingism, I'll show you where it really has grown into such a bad thing, and that's in Venezuela. A person there is murdered every 21 minutes. Every 21 minutes. It's the richest country in the world with regards to oil. People have averaged 20 pounds weight loss because it's not because they're on a diet. There's no food. There's no food. The economy is goofy. All of these murders, all these bad guys, and good guys are not allowed to have a gun. You can't defend yourself. I mean, that would be bad. I mean, 10 million people have left the country. They've fled. They ran away. And it's one of the poorest countries in the whole world. Caracas has the greatest homicide rates of any city in the world. I mean, that's the only way these bad guys can survive, I guess, is taken from the good guys. I don't know, but it's not a nice thing. You know, Christy Clark, are you keeping up? I'm jumping around with different things, different items in different countries. Now I'm into Canada. Christy Clark used to be the Premier of British Columbia. She says, I want to be the Prime Minister because, you know, the Prime Mistake has resigned and I'm going to run. 350 grand, where am I going to get that? And she's been lying about things that she's done in the past and cha-cha. So I don't know if they should run or not. Probably not. Just want to share a fast story with you. probably 6, 7, 8 years ago when she was premier, a friend of mine came up to me and said, would you please come and auction for our political event? And I said, but you're a liberal. He said, no. He said, I'm a conservative, which he was. But in British Columbia, there isn't a conservative party at that time. And so I'm under the liberal banner, and most of us under the liberal banner are conservatives. And I said, oh boy, hooker, escort, I mean, kind of what are you? In any event, he kind of convinced me, and I said, okay, I'll come and do the auction. So just before the auction, he called and he said, would you come with me and we'll meet with Christy Clark because we're doing a fundraising for her. And I said, I said, she's not a conservative. I mean, I can't go under this false banner. No, I quit before I'm even really hired. And he was upset about it. And I said, I'm not going to stand up there as an auctioneer and say, please bid more because she's a good person and she needs money. I don't think so. She's a wacko, lunatic, left-wing person. They all are, the left-wing people. Just sharing. Lastly, hey, I want to give you a little history about me. Why not? It's all about me. Anyway, I've only had one job in my life. I was a milkman. I worked at a dairy for probably 3 years when I was 16 to 19. And I must say it was the best time of my life in so many ways. My oldest son is his father's milkman. And the joke back then is the milkman did it. And it was kind of interesting, but let me share a little bit about milkman stuff with you. Here's a milkman with a dog cart milk delivery in 1910. I just came across this the other day and I just thought it was kind of fun to look at. And then you have in 1940, during the Blitz, I mean, London's getting bombed and by the Germans, by the Nazis in 1940, and here's the milkman out doing his job. And in the 1960s, when I became a milkman, horses were still being used. They just finished using them before I started, and I drove a truck. And I did that. It was, like I say, it was the most fun I ever had. And I remember my salary, I made $245 a month. Just saying. Okay, that's all I got. No more about me. It's about you. Politically, right is right, left is wrong. Vote right, do the right thing. See ya.